on AM Rockland's News. And it's kind of ironic because we're doing this in the afternoon, but what the heck? It's August and we took off a few weeks, quite frankly. We don't tell you where we go, but we traverse the tri-state area just to enjoy everything that is really cool about New York, sometimes Jersey and Connecticut, but really good road trips with some good friends. But we are back and we are here for our weekly segment with County Executive Ed Day. Ed, thanks for being on Rockland's News today.
Good to be here, Tom. Hope all is well in your end of the world.
Thank you. Hope you got some time off too. I know y'all are working really hard to keep everybody safe. And safety is the name of the game, especially in the first item that we talked about. You'd mentioned that the first case of measles has shown up in Rockland County. I think it's the first, you said, since 2018.
Yeah, 2008, 2018 into 2019.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, that's rough. Is hopefully the person that contracted the measles is being treated?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's no question about it. And the important thing I would like to touch on is the fact that measles has returned. We went through this in 2018 for almost a year. We almost lost our measles-free status for countrywide, and 6 days before that would have happened, we were able to get it under control. So it took a lot of work to do. We learned a lot also from what we had experienced there. It's hard to believe that there were actually doctors who were around back then who had never had seen measles before. And it sounds so simple, but the problem is that doctors need to be able to recognize symptoms and things of that nature to make a diagnosis. And unfortunately, not even seeing, seeing what measles look like made it very difficult for the medical professions to really help out. But they picked up their game pretty quick.
That's good.
And right now, officially, we have one resident who tested positive for measles. That resident was returning from travel where they were presumably exposed.
Got it.
This is the first measles case in Rockland County since 2019, as I said. Health officials are tracing and evaluating known contacts for immunity. So this is contact tracing. It's something that we do as a matter of routine. When something like this happens, we go try to find out where the people have been, what kind of exposure they had to healthy people. Make sure that we have immunizations done, and so forth and so on. So as of August 19th, there were 1,375 confirmed U.S. cases in 42 jurisdictions. Uh,
Wow.
in New York State, there have been about 13 confirmed cases. Um, I'm sorry, there was 16. Nine in New York City, four in Orange County, one each in Suffolk, Ontario, and Putnam counties. And the the disease is the virus is so is very difficult to protect themselves against because it's the most contagious disease on earth.
Yeah.
About
Yeah.
90,
Exactly.
yeah, 90%. It's really amazing when we first went through this. We learned an awful lot about it because we had not seen it. I had gotten my shot when I was a kid, and that was back in the 50s. But the
Yep.
measles is the most contagious disease on earth. It is not a fever and a rash, which is what many people called it when I was much younger. Has long-lasting effects on on people who contract the disease. 90% of the unvaccinated people exposed to measles will become infected. 90%, and it spreads very simply through coughing and sneezing, contact touching, and things of that nature. If you put your hands by your eyes or something like that after you touch an area where the exposure happened, you could have a problem. So the symptoms are fever, rash, cough, conjunctivitis, red eyes, runny nose, and the symptoms usually appear 7 to 21 days after exposure. The only known effort that we can do to stop measles is immunization. Getting a vaccine.
Hmm.
Just so folks are aware, two doses will make you 97% effective. The first dose is usually between 12 and 15 months. The second between 4 to 6 years old. That's when they enter school, and that's when the law applies because they're required by law, New York State law, to go to school. If they're not immunized, they have to become immunized.
Hmm.
Right now, again, in response to this same situation, we're offering free MMR vaccines available from the Rockland County Department of Health. That number there is 845-364-2497 or 2497. I'm sorry, or 364-2520, 364-2520, and also at local health centers. They are also administering. So we've already jumped on this to minimize what's happened. And this time, unlike 18, we know a lot more going into this battle than we did last time.
Yeah.
And we have been, just so folks know, we have been engaged in immunization plans and efforts since that other situation happened in 2018. So it's something that we want to take advantage of the fact that we realize that it's a childhood disease. It's readily stopped by vaccination. So we had doubled our efforts to make sure that we took every step we could. The one area of concern that I personally have most about is the very young children who are not in school yet, who are
Exactly.
basically home.
Yeah.
And I tell a story where parents, uncles, adults in particular, that make sure that you are immunized because you don't want your 2-year-old baby getting sick with this. It
Yeah.
could have a long lasting reaction health wise to that child, and it's just something that's it's preventable. Just make sure that you are covered by the vaccinations, even if you're an adult and you have any questions about whether you need to get the vaccination. Have that conversation with your healthcare provider, and you'll make a judgment whether or not you need to have one or not. It's going to depend on your history, and whether or not you have, or you may have had measles yourself, as I did when I was much younger. That gives you immunity, and we shoot for herd immunity to make
Hmm.
sure that we get as many people as possible immunized, and we like to about a 98% if possible. And this way we have the herd immunity that prevents any outbreaks of the disease.
Yeah, I'm looking at, and for those of you that want to follow along on the history of how measles has been able to been contained over the years, there's a fascinating article on Wikipedia. You basically, just go to Google and type in measles and look for the Wikipedia article. And there's this really interesting chart. It really goes in three phases. So in the 1940s to the 1960s, and this is overseas, this chart, but in England, there was over 750,000 cases of the measles, even in the mid 1960s. Well, when the first vaccine was licensed, and that was in the late 60s, it dropped the measles cases by half. And then by 1988, once the group vaccine, MMR, measles, mumps, rubella, was introduced, it dropped those cases to down below like 10,000 per year in some cases. So it's been able to be contained, but it seems like every once in a while, like every 10 years, it's every 5 or 10 years, there seems to be a point where society has to keep an eye on these viruses from emerging once again. It's pretty
You know,
bad.
it makes us think that, when everything's working fine, you don't worry too much about it. And vaccine hesitancy is an issue that is present and compelling. Some people don't trust them anymore, and it's frustrating because we have conversations about the different diseases and whether or not the immunization efforts are strong enough. This particular virus is, you could stop it cold just by getting those 2 shots,
Hmm.
and particularly at a young age. So we just tell people it's something. I said I'm in my mid 70s right now, and so over 50 years ago I got my shots, and there have been these shots, and this immunization for years. And so it's time tested. It's not like we're doing something
Yeah,
experimental.
yeah. It's been around for a while. It's
Yep.
obviously been vetted, and hopefully it continues to do what it's supposed to do, is prevent mass epidemics that could occur. And there's an economic component to this as well. same article that I just mentioned, and obviously human life comes first, but it also has an economic impact. And I'm just reading this off of the thing, and I'm pretty fascinated by it. But quote: taxpayers, local healthcare organizations likely paid more than $167,000 just to contain one outbreak. So that's certainly, at least right now, I don't know if anybody in Rockland wants to add a bill to anything.
No,
So
not at all.
you know, so hopefully it goes well. Appreciate that
It's, it's,
update
it's
on that.
it's a valid point you bring up, Tom, because if you have something, any kind of pandemic of any kind, or a situation like an outbreak, like such as measles, the impact is really very very large because there's so many steps that have to be taken between making sure the current person who has it is taken care of, but also others who we identify through contact tracing, how they're
Yep.
doing,
Yeah.
the people who have to treat them. Obviously, they're pulled away from their jobs. We have to mobilize efforts at times to make sure that we are staying ahead of the curve. So
Yeah.
you're right. The economic piece of this absolutely costs money, but again, the most important thing is that we attack it and we attack it in a strong manner.
Amen to that.
And that
And you
and
were
that
gonna go. I'm
that's
sorry.
that's yeah, that's the part I'll share with our listeners right now is that your county has been doing this and tripled its efforts as soon as this news broke. So we're out there doing. Um, we already have a health clinic scheduled. I don't have the information in front of me
Over at
right now.
Jaeger, right? At
Yeah,
Jaeger Health Center. Gotcha.
yeah.
All right.
So we have that. And that's pretty much it as it relates to that. We're going to keep on hammering away. We beat this once, we'll beat it again.
Awesome. You were also going to bring up about the school bus safety as we're
Yep.
getting pretty close to the next school season. Yippee, yippee, yippee.
Yeah,
So,
this is something that's very near and dear to me. I was the health and safety chair for elementary school that my kids went to back in the 90s. One of the things we explored, but the technology still wasn't there, was to get cameras on buses with the express intent of making sure anybody who goes by a school bus when the red lights are on would be identified and fined. And as again, unfortunately, at that time, the technology was not there. Well, the technology did come into play, and my looking at that made obviously said this is an answer to a dream for me. As a former member of law enforcement, as a parent and grandparent, having seen the results of reckless driving and things as idiotic as going by a stopped school bus, and there's no other way of
oh,
putting it
absolutely. Yeah.
besides yeah. And so we looked into that and we launched a program called Bus Patrol.
Hmm.
They mounted cameras on every bus up here in the county, private and public schools to get also together. Um, the uh, the once they are out there driving around,
Hmm.
the stop arm camera comes up and will record anybody going by that school bus.
Yeah.
The fines $250 for your first violation, 275 for your second, and your third violation is 300 within 18 months. So it's something that's working. We're noticing a very a noticeable difference right now. People know it's out there. We did this about a year ago, and they actually it was almost 2 years now. We actually are getting people are they're changing their behavior, and frankly, that's all we want to do. We're not looking
Right.
to get anybody any a ticket or get, um, to look at put their hands in their pocket to grab money from them. We would be extremely happy if not one tech violation was seen.
Hmm.
That would make me very happy. Um,
Yeah. And to your point, law enforcement, I mean, as best serves as a deterrent. Like, if you do this, then this will happen, like cause and effect, right?
right. Oh, exactly. That's exactly it. Once the word got out, yeah, some people argue about this. They weren't that happy about getting these tickets. Well, I understand what you're saying, but this is a system where we go out of our way to make sure there's no question, to the best of our ability, to make sure that we identified an actual violator. About half of the violations that are recorded by the equipment on the bus are tossed out because it was not doesn't make it 100%. And we have the sheriff's department with officers trained specifically to do this function. And the marching orders are very simple. Unless you see absolute cause to issue a summons, you're not going to issue a summons. We just don't do it.
Yeah.
So again, the key here is that we want to make sure people understand going around a school bus that's standing there and kids are getting off and on the bus to recklessly go around that bus. Words elude me. They're not good words either. But it's just
Yeah.
it's just what does it take those few seconds you're going to save to go around a school bus when little children are crossing the street.
Right.
And we have video of this stuff. There was about 50,000 tickets issued locally here in Rockland County, and it's in a year and a half, 2 years that we've been doing this. They get that
Wow.
50,000 clear violations of law that
Inside Rockland.
inside Rockland. Yep.
And
So
our total population is about three hundred
yep.
forty thousand. So, geez.
Well, about we got a couple of 100,000 of adults, so we can't.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't think I don't think the kids are driving yet.
Right. Well, they're acting like.
You got to get that wooden block under your right foot, and so they can step on the gas pedal at 3 years of age
Seriously.
or something like that.
Yeah. You wouldn't
But
have wanted me driving out there when I was like 2 years old. There's a picture of me. It's like the first picture that I think my mom took of me is like I took my and I wasn't destined for being a truck driver or anything like that. But for some reason, I took my stroller. I turned it not the stroller, the like the tricycle. I took my tricycle. I turned it sideways so that I could use the side wheel as like a steering wheel. Uh, it was
okay,
yeah, just trying to be creative with it. But yeah, once I got the driver's license, obviously I didn't turn anything sideways.
one would think you were destined to become a mechanic, with maybe doing work on engines.
Yeah, well, for a while, my grandfather had a bike store in West Haverstraw, so I was there for a while. That was fun.
Okay.
Good
So,
stuff.
so that's basically. So I just my message to people right now on item one we spoke about. Please get your children immunized, especially the little ones who are not going to school yet. Because speak to your pediatrician. This is an absolute safe vaccine. It's time tested, as I said, and there's no reason unless your doctor says there's a medical reason why you should not do it, which is legal and absolutely fine. This is why you want to have herd immunity because there are a few people out there who may not be able to get that shot, and we don't want to make sure their health is compromised either.
Right.
So you're actually helping the people next door to you. So that's one item. The other item again is, folks, please, as a former member of law enforcement, I've had the horrible, horrible experience of watching children get injured so badly that we're near death. It's not something you want to see happen. It's definitely not something you don't want to have to live through. You'll never recover from that. So when next time you have an urge to do something along the lines of going around a school bus, think about that little one. If you have little ones at home, think about how would you handle that situation if you saw something. Would you go around that school bus? Of course you wouldn't. So just drive a car like your children depend on it, and that's a good start. But don't big red stop sign. Stop. Be patient. Take a deep breath. Don't rush around. There's just no logical point to it, and you don't want to cause a statistic, and you don't want to be part of the statistic. And that's pretty much
Absolutely.
it, Tom.
Well, I appreciate you being on again, and actually should note that there's several people across Rockland County that we've had the opportunity to speak with. Alternatives to Driving, John Ross, a gentleman named Milla, that is reporting on traffic violations that's out there. So I think a lot of us are definitely on the same team, making sure that everybody's safe, especially when they're on the roads around here.
Yep. It's basically a preventable situation.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, County Executive Ed Day, thank you very much for being on AM Rockland's News once again today. We'll look forward to seeing you. I think the next one's going to be in September. So where the heck did the summer go?
Too fast.
I hear that. Well, maybe next time, right?
Sounds great, Tom.
Have a great rest of the week.
You too.